I love NASA, but these stories are crazy. I'm your host Yusuf, and these are 10 scary NASA stories that almost made them shut down. Make sure you subscribe and ring that bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Anyways, fly me to the moon, let me pray among the stars. Number 10, Mega Comet. Are you prepared to witness a mega comet? The appearance of the largest ever comet in our solar system in 2021 is alarming. With an ice nucleus 50 times larger than the previous record holder and a mass of 100,000 times greater than the ordinary comet, Comet C-2014 UN-271, or Bernardinelli-Bernstein, was first categorized as a minor planet. Fortunately, when it comes close to Earth in 2031, this monstrous snowball is expected to come no closer than 1 billion miles, 1.6 billion kilometers. But are there any other monster comets out there? Well, that's an extremely frightening prospect. Number 9, catastrophic solar flare. The sun regularly bombards Earth with high-energy particles. The planet's magnetic field usually deflects these solar strikes. However, magnetic contortions within our star occasionally realign and generate a solar flare, a rapid explosion of light that hurls huge amounts of X-rays and energy in all directions at the speed of light. As a result, navigation and communication signals may go dark. A coronal mass ejection, or CME, is another possibility. This is a slow burner that launches magnetized particles into space. If the CME is aimed at Earth, geomagnetic storms would occur a few days later, potentially disrupting communications and electrical networks. The Carrington event, the most violent geomagnetic storm in human history, occurred in 1859. Before the modern age of technology. If a Carrington magnitude storm struck now, it would bring an internet apocalypse, a months-long outage according to Live Science. Number 8, rogue black holes. The crushed relics of a big star that erupted as a supernova are obviously terrifying. Nothing, not even light, can escape their clutches. Looking at the first image of Sagittarius A star, the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way feels quite safe. It is, after all, 26,000 light years away. However, not all of the black holes in the Milky Way are as far away as the monster in the center of our galaxy. There are expected to be 100 million black holes in the Milky Way, with a considerable fraction of them wandering through it, just floating about. Number 7, a supernova close to us. Another threat from space is the possibility of a devastating supernova. When a star dies in a tremendous explosion known as a supernova, anything inside a certain zone is wiped away by powerful radiation waves. Astronomers estimate that the zone stretches 40 to 50 light years from the detonation of a supernova, and no known stars within that distance from Earth are likely to blow up very soon. However, high-energy X-rays and gamma rays from more distant supernovas could interact with Earth's atmosphere and damage the ozone layer, making deadly ultraviolet light from the sun more accessible. Although one of the most famous red giant stars, Betelgeuse, is on the verge of going supernova, it is about 650 light years away and so unlikely to harm our solar system. Number 6, extra asteroids. There are many huge objects in our solar system, and we only know about a portion of them. It's feasible that an unknown asteroid similar to the one that ended the dinosaurs 66 million years ago might extinguish life on Earth. Fortunately, thanks to ever-improved wide-field telescope surveys, we're uncovering more of our solar system space rocks every day. In reality, scientists today believe that 90% of planet-killer near-Earth objects, those larger than 0.6 miles or 1 kilometers in diameter, have been discovered, and that roughly 50% of city killers have been discovered. However, the European Space Agency's Gaia Space Telescope discovered this year that there are almost 10 times more asteroids in the solar system than astronomers previously assumed. Number 5, the moon's shadow. A total solar eclipse is a spectacular celestial occurrence, but it can also be frightening. The sky darkens when the moon covers 95% of the sun's disk. The temperature has dropped, a cool breeze blows over you, and every hair on your body stands on end. Shadows become more defined as eerie gray dusk descends. If you're standing high above a huge area, you can see the moon's shadow racing towards you until it swallows you whole, and everything goes dark. You get a sinking feeling in your stomach. Perhaps the sun will not return. The payoff for anyone standing in the moon's shadow is a naked eye view of the sun's corona, but that unsettling feeling will linger with you until daylight returns a few minutes later, and possibly beyond. Also, you might go blind by staring at the sun. Number 4. Space music. 3 Apollo 10 men were orbiting the moon in 1969, 2 in a lunar module just miles above the surface, and 1 in the command module higher above, when they heard a strange sound. Their talk, as documented in NASA's archives, went as followed. "Doesn't that music sound like it came from outer space? Did you hear that?" Eugene Cernan, the lunar module pilot, asked. "What's that whistling sound?" "Yes," responded Mission Commander Thomas Stafford. "Whoo." "Say your," Cernan begins. "Did you hear that whistling sound too?" John Young, command module pilot, inquired. "Yes. It sounds like, outer space music," Cernan remarked. Cernan brought it up again. "That eerie music is what's bothering me. You are aware." "God damn, I hear it too," Young added. "That was funny," Cernan added. "That looks like something from outer space. Who'll believe it?" "Nobody," Young said. "Shall we tell them about it?" "I don't know," Cernan replied. "We should give it some thought." Number 3. Knock knock. Before we start, remember that there is no sound in space, simply a vacuum. Because unlike light, sound waves cannot flow in a vacuum of space. You can't hear anything in space. This is why astronaut suits include special communication equipment that allows them to speak with one another as well as mission control on Earth. Yang Liwei was China's first astronaut to be launched into space in 2003. He was seated in his spaceship when he heard many knocks on the door. According to Liwei, it sounded like someone beating an iron bucket with a wooden mallet. Liwei couldn't tell if the knocking originated from inside or outside the ship because sound cannot travel in space. Anxious, Liwei stared through the aperture, but found nothing to explain the strange hammering. When Liwei returned to Earth, he tried to describe the knocking to experts, but he couldn't duplicate the sound he heard in space. The narrative becomes more terrifying as other Chinese astronauts claim to have heard similar sounds during their space trips in 2005 and 2008. Number 2. UFO. When you hear the term UFO, you probably envision a circular, disc-shaped object in the black night sky. However, Gemini 4 astronauts Ed White and James McDivitt would describe the UFOs they witnessed in quite different ways. James McDivitt spotted something outside the spaceship that he couldn't identify on the second day of their voyage in orbit. McDivitt noticed this unidentifiable object whirling in the distance as the shuttle was drifting and Ed White was sleeping. McDivitt took out his camera and photographed this thing, which resembled a beer can with a smooth pencil-like wing extended out. Unfortunately, the photos he shot were hasty and came out blurry and underexposed. McDivitt blamed the object's disappearance on solar glare. As the sun shone on the window, I could no longer see out, and the thing just disappeared. Number 1. Frozen bodies. Many countries, notably the USSR and the United States, transported a variety of animals to space as test subjects before sending manned shuttles up there. To mention a few, there's Laika the dog, Miss Baker the squirrel monkey, and Ham the chimp. Some of them returned safely to Earth, while for others, a minor calculation error resulted in space becoming their pet cemetery. Astronauts on suborbital missions can still see the bodies of these human advancement martyrs. While this is unfortunate, stumbling across these floating carcasses is definitely too morbid. Thanks for watching. Those were 10 scary NASA stories that almost made them shut down. Leave a like and comment if you think we missed anything, and we hope you have a scary day.